and welcome to Diabetic Mum. I'm Ruth and I am a diabetic mum, and this channel is aimed at diabetics, mums, anybody really who has lots of things to juggle. Today I was wanting to talk about running and exercise and all that means when you're also managing diabetes. It was always really difficult for me, and probably from about the age of 18 I was always quite overweight. Now, I found this picture the other day. This is me. Can you see that one? That was me in 2007, and I think after we got back from our holiday and I saw that picture, I thought, hello, I really need to do something about this. And by coincidence, it sort of coincided with a time when my insulin didn't seem to be as effective and efficient as it had previously been. And I think it was all down to my weight. And my consultant talked about me going on to a medication called metformin, which just helps your body process insulin more efficiently, I understand. And I was just a little bit reluctant because when you're already dependent on one thing, you don't want to add any more. Certainly I didn't want to add anything more. So at the time, that was the end of 2007, a neighbour of mine said, have you thought about running? And my very short answer was, absolutely not in a million years. Now, I had seriously never run anywhere. I mean, I was the sort of person who would bunk off cross country if they could help it, or sort of walk round the back and take a shortcut. I really was never a runner. I didn't think I could do it, and I certainly didn't think I could manage my diabetes around it. But she convinced me to give it a go, and so one night, and that must have been September 2007, we went out and I took with me, this is the secret, I took with me my kitchen timer, and I said to her, I am not running for more than 60 seconds. So I held my timer in my hand and I set it to 1 minute and I ran for 60 seconds. And honestly, I thought I was going to die. So we ran for 60 seconds and then we walked for 60 seconds and then we ran for 60 seconds, walked, ran, walked. So in total, we were out for 6 minutes. That's all we did, 6 minutes, just really to the end of the road and back. And then we did it again that week, and then we did it again the following week, and then the next time we did run for 60 seconds, walk for 60, run for 2 minutes, walk for 60, still helped by my trusty timer, just in case she was trying to con me to do more than I wanted. And so the middle run became a slightly longer run, and then a week or so later we were doing run for 2, walk for 1, run for 2, walk for 1, and so we built it up. Now, when I first started, I just used to sort of just have in my head, oh, well, I'm going to be running for about 6 minutes, I'm just going to shave off a tiny little bit of insulin. And sometimes that meant when I was getting home, I was feeling hypo and having low blood glucose level. So my consultant, who by this stage was starting to see an improvement in my health generally, really helped me by saying, okay, when you go out running, the meal you have before, and that was usually my supper, the meal you have before, let's halve your insulin, let's completely cut it by 50%. So I would do that, and then I would go out for my run, and then when I come home, do a blood test and just see where my blood sugars were going when I'd come back from my run. Because of course the last thing you want to do when you're going out for a run and being fit and healthy is coming home and having to have some jelly babies and digestive biscuits and the like. So I was really careful just to monitor my sugar levels sort of before and after I went running. So I'd cut my levels by 50%, and I can really remember the first time I ran 2 miles, which is sort of basically to the next village. And I remember running 2 miles and my husband coming to pick me up, and just feeling like I'd achieved this most amazing thing. And we reached that stage within about 4 or 5 months. And I'd already by that stage lost about a stone and a half, and I think now in total I've lost about 2 stone. So my running partner then was my neighbour. She then had to stop, and I was thinking I would never be able to run by myself because it is so hard to stay motivated when you're out by yourself. But my best friend said that she would like to start, so I started from scratch with her, and we did the run for a minute, walk for a minute, until in about December 2008 we ran a 5k race, and then a couple of years later we ran our very first 10-mile race. Now that was quite an achievement for us. I know it's nowhere near a marathon, and we'd never run a marathon, but a 10-mile race was quite an achievement. This is me on the 10-mile race. And we're not quick. We'd run about 10 to 11 minute miles. So we run 5k in just over 30 minutes, and I ran 10 miles. Well, my best time was 1 hour 40. So we don't run for speed or anything like that. We just run for the health benefits of it, and it's fabulous. And we still go once or twice a week, and we talk when we're out running, so you're not always thinking about how painful your legs are and how much your lungs hurt. And since I've gone on to the insulin pump, here's Kitty today. Since I've gone on to the insulin pump, I have been doing exactly the same process. I've been reducing my evening meal bolus by 50%, and I've got that as a health setting, exercise 1. And I also reduce my basal rate, and I've got a temporary basal rate of 70% that I use just before I go out, and then for the few hours afterwards, sort of, I suppose, while my body's recovering. And so far, that's working really well, but more on that another time. Bye for now.